What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Opinionated, outspoken, informative. The Jaguar Journal. Your source for the latest information on Southern University sports and SWAC athletics. A Baton Rouge sports talk tradition.
Good morning. We are live. I'm here solo. I'm in the studio by myself. Can y'all believe that? Good morning and happy Saturday to all the folks out there. Don't interrupt me, Perry. I'm going to introduce you. I'm Brandi B. Harris. Perry White left the house to myself today. Can you believe I'm home alone? Perry White is on the road. Perry, tell them where you at. Good morning to you.
I figured this was going to happen. I said, I know they got this plan. See, when you leave them at the house by themselves, they're going to take over and do what they want.
House party! Yeah! So, Perry, you're on the road for us this morning. Tell us where you are.
Oh, yeah. Good morning to everybody, man. Listen, I'm up in Chicago handling some things, but good to be on. Y'all know I don't miss a Saturday. It don't matter. I can be in Alaska. I can be in Sri Lanka. I can be in Antarctica. I'm not going to miss the Jaguar Journal. So, good morning to everybody. Perry White, Brandi B. Harris. Glad for us to be able to join you this morning. So what's up, Brandi?
What's up with you, Perry? Summertime shy. Well, it's not exactly summertime. Chicago in the springtime is beautiful. Are you enjoying your time there in Chicago?
You know I am. You know, the weather, when I got in, it's been in the 80s here. So it's been warm here, kind of cooled off a little bit last night. But nonetheless, this is beautiful weather minus the humidity. So I can take 70, 80 degrees minus the humidity with a little wind blowing. Perfect for me.
Well, that sounds fantastic. Make sure you go get you some Harold's chicken, okay?
See, stop. You're talking like a tourist. You're doing the tourist thing, see? You got to do the local stuff. That's for the tourists come to Chicago.
You say what you want. That Gordon's popcorn, and it can be touristy if it wants. It's good. Period. Yeah. Like, go get you some of that Gordon, the Chicago mix where they put all three of them together. Oh, yeah. Go try that. Trust me.
It's Garrett's.
Garrett's. That's it. But it don't matter because I've had it and I know that it's delicious. So if you having that craving for that salty, sweet mix, I would definitely go get that. So what are you doing in Chicago this weekend?
You know, visiting family. You know, I'm from up this way. So this is all my people. This is what we do. So getting a chance to get around family and see some folks. And then for me, just leisurely hang out. You know, this time of the year, I normally make a couple trips to Chicago, a few trips throughout the year. So I was able to come a few weeks ago, able to come back now. When school's out, every summer I bring my son up. And so take him around and do things, show him his Chicago heritage and, go around and see family and stuff. So, it's just, hey, you can take the shy out the boy, but you can't take the boy out the shy. How about that?
I understand. We love to hear that. And there's a lot going on here locally, Perry. I know we have some guests coming in this morning. There's a lot happening at the state capitol, but happening today on the Bluff. The SU alumni home chapter crawfish boil, their 10th annual crawfish boil that's happening today, along with the SWAC championship. First time it's ever been on the Bluff with all of the SWAC schools on the Bluff for track and field, right?
Now, I don't know the history in terms of how many times they've had it at Southern, but I know it's been a long time, especially with the upgrades they've had to Jaguar Park, in which they have for the field events there. And then, of course, with Southern getting this track revamped. Beautiful track with the colors, with the blue and gold track. I mean, when you look at that facility, has to be not just in the state, but I would say throughout the conference, has to be the best track facility in the conference right there in A.W. Mumford Stadium along with Jaguar Park. So it's good to be able to have the SWAC on the campus, the SWAC track and field championships on the campus of Southern University, allow those other institutions that think they sometimes better than Southern to give them opportunity to see what a real facility look like when it comes to track and field. And we don't have to go borrow nobody else's facilities, right? We don't have to go up the street and around the corner to go do it. We can do it right there on our campus on the Bluff, right overlooking the Mississippi River at Southern University. So welcome to anybody as well that's in town, coming for the track and field championships from all of the other 11 institutions within the conference. And so, to be able to come to Southern University, see our facilities, and enjoy yourself, I hope you find some good food, because Brandi going to tell you where all the good food at. And she's going to tell you where all the good hangout spots at. That's Miss Love 225. You can't come to the 225 and not know, because Brandi going to tell you.
You're right. You got a good point on that. There's just the baseball team also has their series with Alcorn up on the Bluff this weekend. So there's just a lot going on for Southern University Jaguars. Am I right?
Who playing Alcorn this weekend?
Southern.
What sport?
Baseball.
Baseball, y'all better look. Alcorn baseball has not been nothing in, look, I don't even know.
So they need to handle business today on that, or tomorrow on that.
What'd you say?
I said they need to handle business then, is what you're saying.
You better with Alcorn. I mean, every time I look up, Alcorn getting blew out by somebody in baseball. I don't know what's going on with Alcorn baseball. I think last year Alcorn maybe won a handful of games. When I say a handful, literally hold out your hand and count your fingers. That's about how many games they won last year. They're a program that's been struggling, and I'm not really quite sure. We'll have to get my guy Charles on from Alcorn maybe next week to talk about the Braves and try to see what's going on with their program. But for Southern, Coach Chris Crenshaw, they've been right there in the thick of things in the SWAC West running for baseball. And so they have to win this series. This is a series against a team that quite frankly, you're better than.
Right.
But when you look at the sport, hey, what they always say, they put on their pants just like I put on my pants. So in the grand scheme of things, you have to go out and play. And for Southern, they got to go out there and handle business against Alcorn right there. And look, Brandi, first of all, you just don't like to lose to Alcorn. I don't care if we flipping coins, rock, paper, scissors, racing, or baseball. You just don't want to lose to your cousins up the street right there in Lorman, Mississippi.
I totally understand. Now, there's like I said, we're going to have some guests coming on later on, and there's a lot going on that will affect Southern University at the state capitol. One of those things is actually two things. House Resolutions 51 and 52 from Representative Edmund Jordan to establish a medical and pharmacy school for Southern University. That has so many future implications that could change the entire face of our system and, of course, have a huge impact on Black healthcare or healthcare for Black people in the state of Louisiana and all across the country, because there's such a small percentage of Black folks that are doctors and surgeons. So to be able for the Southern University system to contribute to that possibly is going to be a huge, huge, huge deal. I'm going to talk about that later in the show. So there's a lot going on to impact Southern University. But aside from that, today, the Bluff will be popping. The SU Alumni Home Chapter hosting their 10th annual crawfish boil for $35. You can get up there, kick it with them, enjoy the music, the food, all of the live fun and entertainment. It's a family day, and you can hit the SWAC championship at Mumford Stadium. What do you think about that, Perry?
I think it's a good day to be a Jaguar. How about that?
It's always a great day to be a Jaguar. We absolutely love it. So tell me, Perry, what else you got on the docket for today?
We're going to Chinatown. I'm gonna let them rub on my back a little bit, Brandi. My back been sore.
That doesn't sound inappropriate.
What, a massage? What's inappropriate about a massage?
No, you get your rest and relaxation, bro. You deserve.
Yeah, I'm going to Chinatown. I'm gonna let them rub on me a little bit, and then I'm gonna eat some Chinese food, and then I'm gonna hang out downtown a little bit. I got to go hang out with my cousin. I got a cousin in town as well from Cleveland, so I got a lot of family. I'm mostly a Midwest guy, as well as from down in the South. Arkansas is where our roots come from, but just like many black folks back in that time in the 60s and coming into the 70s, you had that great migration of people from Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama. A lot of those folks moved up north for better opportunities. So, you know, for my family, my grandmother and all her brothers and sisters, they started out in a small town in Lake Village, Arkansas, right there in the corner of the Delta, across the Mississippi River from Greenville, Mississippi, and just north of Lake Providence, Louisiana. So they've had opportunities to move up. And so Cleveland, Kansas City, Chicago, St. Louis, Milwaukee, that's that whole little pocket of area where family. So getting together, me and my cousin, we both going to go get our back rubbed on. They may step on it, walk on it, put their knee in it, whatever. I just want to come out feeling a little bit better, Brandi. That's it.
That's all that matters. You enjoy your rest and relaxation. We will hold down the fort here today. We're going to have a party, right, Mike? Yeah, we're going to have a party. So don't worry. Mike, everything will still be put together when you come back. We're not going to tear it up too much. We'll clean up when we're done.
You can't tell me Mike looked at you and smiled and said yes when you said we're going to have a party.
He is over here grinning right now. If only you could see the smile on his face. If only you could see the smile on his face. Now, I know later this morning, y'all, just to let you know, we will have Senator Cleo Fields coming in to talk about the Congressional District. Okay, big blow to what was supposed to be an election this November, because we're now redrawing the maps, or they're back to the drawing board when it comes to the congressional maps to have a second majority minority district. This has been in the works for a long time. They got an order that this had to happen, and now federal judges are saying that the map that they drew up with that second majority minority district is a no-go. Senator Fields was planning to run for that district, and now we're back to the drawing board. So we'll check in with him to see the implications on that. Again, a congressional district, huge implications for the entire state, especially for the black population, to make sure that we are represented fairly, and so that our state congressional district maps are in alignment with the 1965 Civil Rights Voting Act. So we've got a lot to talk about when he gets here later on in the 8 o'clock hour. Perry, anything else you want us to look forward to?
Tell Mike to pick up the phone when we go to break.
Mike, answer the phone when we go to break. Okay. It's 7:15. We are going to get ready for the next part of the show. We're going to take a quick break and come right back.
Hi, I'm Danny Johnson. First and foremost, outstanding young man, great character, great young man. Can't say enough about him. Great father. You always see him, hanging around with his son and spending time with his son and his family. As a player, I can't say enough about him. He has all the athletic ability that you would want in a kid with playing corner. The footwork, speed, all the intangibles.
I have a good work ethic. It's been a lot of times, in the off season, I gotta just push myself to go work out. Even if nobody else was out there, just to get an extra push when we get back into the season. Because I always wanted to have that edge over everybody else. So, it's just that mindset that I have. I want to be one of the best. So, I gotta push myself. If anybody else does. And it's like a lot of stuff that I want to do with my son that I can't do because I'm playing ball. So my biggest return to him is just, having him come to games on Saturday. He can see his father play in front of, thousands of people. It makes him happy. So whenever he's happy, I'm happy. But just when I get the chance to just go home and, hear everything, he's been doing in school and, what he likes and doesn't like, it just brings me back to that fatherhood of just being around him, and that's what I like to do. I put academics over football because, I can't play football forever. At some point, I'm going to have to rely on that degree. So, that's my biggest thing, and that's one reason why I came to Southern, to get that degree. So I set myself up to where I'll be able to graduate right after the season. So if football doesn't work out for me, I can always come back and go to grad school. So, education is a big thing for me.
Danny Johnson put Southern University on a national stage. Obviously, everybody knows about Jag Nation and Southern University, but You'll see Danny Johnson playing on Sunday one day, and he'll be able to be an ambassador, for the university.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Perry White, Brandi B. Harris.
Period. Mike is on that. He is on that. We love that. That gets me so hyped up every time I hear it. What about you, Perry?
I'm going to let you have it because, that's your excitement. Look, hit it for her again, Mike. That's Brandi B. Harris. So anytime you hear that sound right there, just look around because she'll appear.
So if you don't hear it, then I must not be here. And I know that you'll be missing me and my presence and my energy. You know what I'm saying? Because it brings a certain energy. Well, Perry White, there's a lot on the docket for Southern University over the next few months, which is kind of ironic because things typically start to slow down around this time of the year. Me and you talked about that. Like today, SWAC championships, SWAC track and field championships happening up on the bluff. So all of the SWAC schools will be there, which I think is such a cool thing to see all of the different SWAC schools on the bluff at the same time for the same reason, all on the same day that the SU alumni home chapter is hosting their 10th annual crawfish boil. So there's a lot going on the bluff, but there's a lot happening in the legislature that could affect the bluff as well. So we'll be talking about that later in the show.
I know you can't mention crawfish. I'm sure you're going to be there.
I'm sure I'm going to be there. Just $35. This is a family-friendly event, by the way, folks. So I am looking forward to it. It's going to be a pretty warm one today, though. You said it's 80-something degrees up there in Chicago, looking like a high of 87 around here. And it gets sticky. So we'll see how that goes later this afternoon.
Yeah, we got to, one thing I do like about up here, it does get hot. It's just anywhere. It's that South Louisiana.
Oh, no, it's the humidity. Like in Chicago, y'all are getting some of that wind off the lake. You know what I'm saying? Off them Great Lakes. So it cools off a little bit. It can get actually very windy. They call it the Windy City for a reason. Whereas down here, we just be sticky. We don't get no break, no breeze. We've had some breezes. It's been kind of windy. So hopefully it'll stay nice and cool on this beautiful May spring morning.
Let me ask you this. How's your week been, Brandi? You asked me all these questions about my week in the city. How's your week?
Well, thank you for asking. I've been very busy. Very, very busy. Number one, in pop culture, there's this Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef popping off that I woke up to more developments to. So that's another story. But, as far as just in life and in work, man, it's a lot going on. Southern University already planning for that SU Athletics Department Gala again. So I'm very excited to partake in that later in the year in August. We're just looking forward to summer break, man. I'm counting down to my vacation. I'm trying to be out of town like you.
Are you going to be the host again this year?
To MC? I sure am. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'll have more details in the coming months as it gets closer and closer over at the Baton Rouge River Center, the Raising Cane's River Center. We had a good time last year. Am I right, Perry? For the inaugural one? Yeah, we had a fantastic time.
Yeah.
So
at the table, I had an opportunity to meet your husband, and then we all was able to talk to all of the coaches that honored that day.
I had an opportunity to sit amongst legends at the front table, like with Coach Nathaniel Deneau of the volleyball team at Southern University. Of course, Coach Roger Cador, legendary baseball coach. And, of course, Pete Richardson, legendary football coach. I got to sit with some real GOATs at that table. So I'm looking forward to see what the athletics department is going to be able to put together this year. And of course, all of the proceeds, every dollar of those proceeds go back into the athletic department, providing scholarships, opportunity, resources, everything that our student athletes need to keep providing us with, representation for Southern University on these grand stages.
Hey, you forgot one, Brandi.
What?
At the table. Perry White.
And Perry White. I didn't mean not you, P. Me and you were the GOATs, obviously. We two GOATs, obviously. You know what I'm saying? I was really talking about the coaching GOATs. You know what I'm saying? So there's that. So, and then again, later on this morning, we're going to have Senator Cleo Fields in here to talk about the implications of throwing out the congressional district map that was recently brought up to federal judges. 2 out of 3 judges on the panel said, nope, this map don't go. So can't wait to find out from him what he thinks about that. He was running for that district, a majority minority district, so that Louisiana is in compliance with the 1965 Civil Rights Law. So I cannot wait to have this conversation with him. As y'all know, I'm very passionate about the news. I'm very, very passionate about the news. So I'm excited to talk about that. And just there's so much going on. It's so beautiful outside, Perry. I'm not in Chicago, but it's pretty nice down here in Baton Rouge.
Let me ask you this. How does it, you transition to radio with me, and you get the opportunity to see the different perspective from television and now coming into radio. And today, you jumped out the nest today. You ready to spread your wings. How does it feel spreading your wings, jumping out the nest? Because it sounds like you're rocking and rolling with it.
Does it? Does it really sound like that? To be honest,
you don't
Perry.
Think you feeling? Is it nervousness?
No. I think today it's okay for me to be at the helm because we're gonna be talking about news stuff. You know what I'm saying? And that is definitely my wheelhouse. So in those months where there may not be athletic events going on because the students are out of school for the most part, there's still so much happening that impacts us directly, that impacts Southern University directly, that impacts all of these listeners directly. And I'm very, very passionate about, talking about that, sharing that information. I know that everybody don't watch the news. They always tell me that I don't watch the news. But there's information there that 100% impacts you. And you don't want to get hit sideways with something and be like, well, when this happened? Because then when you tell me, I'm going to be like, well, I've been talking about it every day, 5 days a week from 5 a.m. to 9 a.m. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about having Senator Cleo Fields here to talk about this because this is a huge deal with huge historic implications for everybody in our state, especially the black folk.
I can tell you're excited because you're saying it over and over. Like, Cleo, Senator Fields, if you didn't know, she's excited.
It's very, very, very important. Huge implications that will affect us for generations.
So, we're talking about coming to those months of when things slow down. Southern University having track and field this weekend for the SWAC track and field championships. But besides that, what do you normally do does news ever have a slow period, aside from, the...
So we don't believe in saying that because, see, the news guys will just dump stuff on you. So we don't ever say that it's slow because it's really never slow, right? There's always something going on that people need to know about. But right now, the legislature is in their regular session. So there are huge things going on. And you have a Republican supermajority and a Republican governor, and they are pushing through legislations quicker than most people can even read about them to understand them. So as far as the slow period, it absolutely ain't right now. And then we're going into a constitutional convention, so they're going to change the state constitution. No, this ain't the time for slow news. And then things kind of heat up in the summer for the news. So right when sports starts to slow down because our student athletes are on summer break, the news 100% ramps up. So a slow time in the news, I don't know about that.
I saw what you did there. You said things start to heat up in the summer in the news. I saw how you put that together.
Mike, that's a new sound effect we need. We need that little drummer, that little comedic drummer. Yes.
Oh my God.
What? Mike, don't be mad. I like sound effects, Perry. I like sound effects. So what else do you have for us? Because I'm actually pulling up right now these the information for that SWAC championship because it's actually already started over the last couple of days. Today's kind of the wrap up day, but there's still going to be a lot going on, right?
Yeah, that's right. And we're going to have Coach White come on here in just a few minutes. He's going to talk to us. He's the track and field head coach over at Southern University, to give us some insight backstory of who's been winning medals, who's been competing, and most of all, where has Southern University fallen into the ranks of the best track and field programs outdoor within this conference. And it's going to be interesting because as you continuously looked over the history of this, Southern has had traditionally in the past, historically, great success in the SWAC when it comes to track and field. Now, as of lately, Southern has kind of just been, right in there. But now to be able to host it on the campus of Southern University, I want to see how, when you get to host things at home, you got to show out at home. And that's just how I feel. If you bring something to my house and I'm hosting it, look, I'm going above and beyond. I'm going to show out for you. I'm going to let you know, hey, y'all going to think about coming back here next time, okay?
Now I'm looking at the scores right now for the men. 7 of 21 events completed. Southern there is in 6th place, right behind Grambling. Number 1 in first place so far, Texas Southern. These are for overall team scores, okay? So not for individual competition. And then for the women, now they're in 2nd place, right behind Prairie View. And this is all from so far in this SWAC track and field championship. It will wrap. Today is the last day, May 4th. So very excited to see they've completed 9 of 21 events for the women and 7 of 21 events for the men. So very, very excited to see what will happen from there.
And something else I'm going to talk about a little bit later in the show once things start to slow down. Of course, the NFL draft occurred. No HBCU football players drafted for the second time in 4 years during this latest NFL draft. A lot of guys getting that undrafted free agent deal, getting out there, having a tryout, and getting significant money regardless of the fact, but not seeing one single guy from the HBCU realm of football drafted. That is the conversation that we have to talk about because now I believe what it does, it creates the platform for us to discuss what is it? Is it our style and brand of football? Is it the eyes not being seen to know what we have? Is it just a lack of talent? I think this is a conversation that truly needs to be discussed for people to really have a sit down and we discuss what is going on when we look at our brand of HBCU football and considering thinking that it is going to be, these guys here and they're transferring in that have opportunities. Then when that day comes, we don't see our school's name with a guy representing our school going off to one of these organizations representing in the NFL. So I think that's a conversation we can have a little bit later in the show, and people can call in and talk to us about it. But it's definitely interesting to see what is going on where guys aren't making it from the HBCU level, and how is that going to affect us recruiting guys saying come to our schools when they're not going to possibly get that opportunity, as we've seen 2 times out of the last 4 years to play on the next level. So.
Well, we know, I did a story with and talked to Doug Williams, first Black NFL quarterback to make it to the Super Bowl, to win the Super Bowl. And he's been an active part of establishing the HBCU Legacy Bowl to bring a lot of the best HBCU players in the country together with NFL scouts in the Superdome so that they have an opportunity to, get scouted and to be viewed and seen. So I'm hoping that as that continues on over the next few years, they've only done it a couple times. So to have that over the next few years, that continues to get more attention. And hopefully, like you said, not unsigned free agents. We want them to get drafted just like everybody else. I would love to see a Southern University Jaguar, in the room for draft night. Am I right?
That's right. And not the Superdome, Yeoman Stadium at Tulane.
Excuse me, in New Orleans. But I love that they have an opportunity and that people like Doug Williams, using their platform to create something like this. I know you and I have talked about Coach Kadar working with MLB to create opportunities for the HBCU players too. So it's all about the people from the system actually trying to make it happen for the system. So, we're going to send out that good juju to the Southern Jags. I know one guy did get picked up by the Broncos. He was invited to try out. He got picked up by the Broncos. And there were other HBCU talents across, that got picked up. So hopefully we get to see them make some big plays and some big games and put on, for the HBCUs.
That's it. Time for us to take a break.
Yep, it is time to take a break. We will take a quick break. Perry over in Chicago. Pete, what it feel like out there right now?
A little chilly, about 56 degrees right now. Beautiful.
You need a little light jacket out there. We touching on almost 70 here. It is 7:32. We're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to continue to talk about what's happening in the news, including with this congressional district decision and how this has huge implications for our upcoming November elections. You're watching the Jaguar Journal? Listen to the Jaguar Journal. We'll be right back.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
Talk about offense, we talk about Southern, and it begins with their passing game.
Tom, beyond potent, we're talking about high octane, we're talking about fast break, we're talking about 41 points a game, some 500-plus yards since Terrence Levy has taken over this offense.
Because that young man doesn't drop any ball.
With the legacy that you started here, you got to feel happy to see it continue on with Doug Williams.
Ball now back at the 22-yard line. Levy, no pressure at all. Touchdown, Ingram. The Bayou Classic. Levy on a first and goal play. Throws a touchdown. Grambling comes with a blitz. Levy steps in the pocket. And his pass is caught. One-handed grab.
Sort of in the middle of the road of the SWAC, but immediately they jump on the Jackson State defense. And here's Levy rolling out. And the pass is caught. Ball is at the 31-yard line. Again, throwing the football downfield. Oh, and his receiver, Hayes, makes the catch. See you later. Touchdown, Southern. If you're going to get, I got some free tickets. Look out for it, brother. Going downfield. Oh, and what a play by Southern.
Score. He's played a lot tougher ever since. And this is a free play for Southern.
2nd and 15.
It's a free play.
Levy completes his
pass.
It's a free play. Oh, and he's still up.
It's a free play.
Hayes. Hayes is going to continue running inside the 10, the 5. Unbelievable, Michael Hayes. 3rd down. And 23 for a first. Levy over the middle. Nice pass that time. 2nd and 20. Levy doesn't have to get it all, but he's going to have to pick up some yards. Here he is throwing, nice catch made.
The receiver, Michael Hayes. There he goes.
Hayes makes the catch. Hayes still on his feet. Hayes looking for blocking. Hayes trying to find a hole. Hayes is still on his feet. He alley-oops. He's inside the 15 and drawn out a foul.
Touchdown.
Backfield. Plenty of time for Levy across the middle. Has his man at the 15. You know, I don't know if you want to break the spirit of Terrence Levy or not. Here he wings one wide open down the middle and a one-handed grab made.
The way. 3rd down and 4. And here's Lewis off the catch. Lewis still on his feet. And Lewis is streaking down the sideline. Touchdown. So they move back 5 yards. Levy on 3rd down. Looking down the sideline. Yes, sir! Big time play.
Guys, step it up like they go.
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Perry White, Brandi B. Harris.
You already knew it was coming, Perry.
In the studio. Look, that's why I held up because, look, I know you got Mike. You got your hand probably pointed at Mike like you better get it right.
My guy is ready. I don't even have to point. He's ready. He already knows. When you hear the name, Brandi B. Harris. Period. Just like that. We're
He's
here.
probably smiling from ear to ear right now.
I am. You should
talking about
tune into
Mike.
the YouTube. Happy Saturday, everybody. Grand Rising. Okay, good morning to everybody out there in Jaguar land. Perry White has left the house to me this morning. I am solo dolo in the studio while Perry is enjoying his time on the road, getting massages, eating Chinese and food and things over there in the windy city of Chi-Town, out there in the Midwest, doing it big. So very excited to have the house to myself today. But there's a lot going on for Southern University. The SWAC Track and Field Championships happening right now on the Bluff. They've been happening since the 2nd, and today will be that day that they wrap up.
It is, and welcome to the show. We got to look. He's no stranger, and I call him my cousin from down in South Louisiana because when you hear his voice, you like, yeah, that's a Louisiana guy, and he's the head coach. He runs all that track and field, everything you want to talk about at Southern University. Coach White, good morning, Coach.
Good morning, Mr. White. Good morning. How you doing?
Doing good. See, that's my cousin Brandi from the other side. This my gumbo making cousin right here, Coach White.
Good morning, Coach White. Good morning.
How you doing, Miss Brandi? How you doing this morning? I'm doing well.
I'm doing well. You got your hands full over there, up on the bluff, right, with that SWAC track and field championship going down.
Yes, but we got some great energy going, so I just do it for my kids. That's all.
You know, Coach, let me ask you this. You know, to be able to host the SWAC track and field championships on the campus of Southern University, and Brandi and I was talking about it, how many times has Southern been able to host this type of event?
Well, the last time Southern hosted this event was in 1984. So it's
Whoa!
been 40 years. 40 years since Southern hosted the event. So it was huge to bring on campus. You know, administration worked hard to get that track back with the blue, but we added a little gold to it. And it's just 3 schools in the conference that can host, and that's Alabama A&M, Prairie View, and Southern University, the Southern University. And we was fortunate to get that the SWAC championship this year, and we're going to have it for the next 2 years also. So we're pretty excited about that. But the main thing, our kids like to really compete on our track, and it was a big thing for them to be at home, to have the opportunity to do something great at home.
Fantastic.
You know,
Go ahead,
Brandi.
No, I was going to say, Coach, so it's almost like it's the first time in this era, right, that y'all are getting to host this track championship. And tell me, what has the turnout been like these first few days?
The turnout's been really, really well, but the turnout's going to be really well today because it's our final day, and we got a lot of kids in the finals. It's the most kids that we ever had in the finals since I've been at Southern University as far as, you know, in the running events, and we got a few more field events, so we're pretty excited about that. So by us bringing the championship to Southern University on our campus, the kids have an opportunity to compete at home has paid off really big for us. And we're just looking for them to close it out today and compete well and get some podium places, first, second, or third, to get some big points.
All right, Coach. Since day one, give us a recap of day one all the way up into today when you guys get ready to wrap it up, and who's been the front runner and what have all the schools looked like in the competition?
Well, on the men's side, we had a few guys that made it, that got on the podium. We actually had one sprinter guy that actually threw the javelin like 4 weeks ago. He never knew how to throw it. He ended up getting third place in the javelin, so I was really excited about that. We had some young ladies that was second and third in the javelin on day one. We had a young lady that was third in the hammer throw on day one. I don't want to miss anybody, but we had so many. We had Trinity Bowden. She made the finals in the 200 on day one. We had 2 guys, Tarius Thompson and D'Anthony Nervous made the 200 finals from day one. They're going to run the day again. We had Camille Lewis, Sierra Session that made the 400-meter finals on day one. They're going to compete today. Yesterday, Camille Lewis came in second in the high jump. It's just so many of them. It's hard to name. We had John Thompson, Christian Washington, Devoy, Pinnock. They all made the 110-meter finals yesterday. They're going to compete today. We had Jada Chevalier and Tashina Alasi. She actually made the 100-meter finals. Trinity Bowden, she made the 100-meter finals today. It's just so many to call. I don't want to leave anybody out, but we have a lot of kids in the finals, and they're competing really well at home. And that was the big thing for us to really bring that championship to Southern and, ensure the SWAC that we are the standard.
And, Coach, I'm looking through some of the results through some of those preliminary events that have already happened over the last few days. It's looking like a lot of people set their own personal records. Tell me, what has been your message to the team and to all the athletes about competing in this championship and putting it all out there and leaving it all out there on the track and field?
I mean, my message has been to them, everybody matters. Everybody matter, and everybody have to do their part. We're going to have some ups, and we're going to have some downs, but we look to have more ups than downs. So, everybody got to contribute. And since day one, when we started out in the fall, we working real hard. By having groups of different events, that was carried the team to make it a lot better. So, them having competitive practices, that practice is huge for us. And then, they compete in the venue that they used to. So, that's the big deal to it. So we're just trying to stay focused and have everybody do their part. them having, just like you say, the personal best and them getting in the top 8 so we could do some great things.
Coach, what has been the response that you've gotten from coaches from around the conference that have now come to Southern University to be able to see your facilities? And as you said, it's amazing only 3 schools within this conference can host a track and field championship, Prairie View, Alabama A&M, and Southern. But for them to come to your campus and look around and say, man, look, you have the facilities I wish we had. What has been the response back that you've heard from those coaches?
The number one response we've been getting is the travel, the centralized location that Southern is compared to each school in the SWAC. So it's not so hard of a travel. I know, like, Bethune-Cookman is a little ways away. I know Alabama A&M is a little ways away. But for everybody else, it's an easy travel in. And they love the facility. I mean, it's a fast track. As you can see, they've been getting really big performances in the throws, big performances in the jumps. So, that's what the track coaches want. They want to come to compete to a place that they know they could get the numbers. What the numbers is just being able to qualify for first rounds at nationals, being able to move along. So that's what our venue has been producing, and they know it's a really good venue, and they're looking forward to doing some even greater things today.
So, Coach, I'm looking at the schedule for today. Y'all are going to have a lot of those field competitions, discus, pole vault, some of those triple jumps. And then later in the afternoon, around 5 o'clock, a lot of they're going to be hitting that track. So tell me, what are some of the top events for Southern in this championship?
I mean, pretty much everything we're doing today is big for us. The only event that Southern don't have anybody in for today is the pole vault. That's the only event that we don't have anybody in. And I think on the women's side, we don't have a 5,000-meter runner. But for everything else, we pretty much got someone in the finals. I think we don't have anyone in the 400 meters also. But for all the other events, we got at least 2 to 3 kids in it. Maybe one at least in the event. So I'm pretty excited about that. But we got to, if I'm not mistaken, we got maybe 2 running events where we got 3 kids made it into the finals. So that's very huge. And to have 3 kids from Southern University in the finals, and all they have is 8 lanes.
That's a huge
Because
deal.
I know you're a busy guy today. You're going to get things up and going. What is the life of a track coach at a track meet? Hosting a track meet and actually coaching a track meet, it's a lot. But at the same time, my administration does a great job of making sure that I can coach at our championship meet, which is at our place. So they do a really great job with that. All the coaches at Southern University, the leg department, they come out and support. They come out and help. They just make sure it's easy for me in order for me and my staff to go out there and do the things that we need to do and keep our team focused to compete in the way that we need to compete.
All right, Coach. Well, we are looking forward to everything gets started early this morning. They're going to start at 10 a.m. Am I right?
We got to get it cranked up. It gets started at 10 a.m. with the men's discus, so that's a big event for us. So we're ready to get this thing started. We're ready to get it rolling today.
And then them races get started around 5 o'clock. The Bluff will be jumping this afternoon. And I'm going to keep reminding everybody, in addition to the SWAC championship, the SWAC track and field championship that's happening at A.W. Mumford Stadium today, there's also the SU Alumni Home Chapter Crawfish Boil that's happening on the Bluff. So you can go get you some crawfish, head on over to the stadium, watch the track and field championships, and support the Jaguars. Right, Perry?
That is correct.
All
right, Coach. Well, look, appreciate you for coming on with us, Coach. I know you got a busy day. You're going to get it rocking and rolling today, man. Good luck to you guys, and good luck to the Jaguars, and good luck to everybody, especially anybody that's in town in Baton Rouge this weekend for the track and field events, man. I hope you look. Brandi going to tell you all the good places to go eat if you're listening right now, and she's going to tell you all the places to go. But for you, Coach, man, good luck to you, and good luck to the team. And hey, I would say bring it home, but you already at home.
Look, I appreciate you all having me on here. We're ready to bring it home today. We really got a great shot on our women's side. So we would like to ask Jaguar Nation, y'all come out and show up and show out because y'all going to see some great performances from our Jaguars today. Go Jags.
Go Jags. Thank you so much, Coach. Again, the track and field, the SWAC track and field championships happening on the Bluff this afternoon or this morning, beginning with those field events at 10, then the track events, the running events begin later on in the evening. Perry, it is that time to pay some bills.
Well, let's pay them then.
Let's pay the bills. Perry White out of town today. He left me home alone. That means we're going to have a party, okay? We're going to take a quick break. I think we're going to have some guests coming on in the show in just a bit. We're going to talk about some of those things that's happening at the state capitol that will have a direct impact on our entire community. We're going to take a break. You're listening to the Jaguar Journal. We'll be right back.
It's On the Yard Sports, and I'm Perry White, and what I need for you to do is go follow and subscribe to our YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, as well as Twitter right now.
T.R. Ricks is a fifth-year senior who's getting his first chance to drive the train that Bob talked about. And right now, he's driving it quite well because the Southern Jaguars are kicking butt in the SWAC conference. As Bob mentioned, 6-0 overall in the SWAC, and T.R. Ricks has played so well, over 2,000 yards passing. In the last 3 games running the football, he's been over 100 yards on the ground. The respect factor that he gets from his teammates is incredible. As a fifth-year senior who's never started, they elected him captain. And the numbers he has put up are represented on your screen. 27 total touchdowns on the offense, a pass percentage of nearly 60%. He could be the SWAC Player of the Year on the offensive side.
Best, and they're going to get a huge dose of the best offensive player in the SWAC, and that being Thomas Ricks.
Yeah, what Thomas Ricks has found a way to do is just beat defenses either with his arm, with his feet, or with his leadership capabilities, finding a way to win the games late with fourth-quarter comebacks. He showed versatility and athleticism. He's a tremendous athlete that knows how to win, most importantly.
Really is a leader both on and off the field.
I just think it has come to a maturity level. I have a 4-year-old son, and, when he was born, I had to grow up fast, and, just staying in school and practicing every day, trying to get better every day, just so he can have a better future. It's just been my inspiration. So, I just think that's my motor that drives me and, keeps me in the game.
His 4-year-old son, Collier, has not missed a game this season. They throw the football around in Rick's dorm room at Southern, and he says it's great playing football with Collier. 1st and 10. Ricks. He's got Vernon. Vernon makes the catch at the 45.
They can run the entire offense with all those guys in the game.
Ricks to Vernon. 1st down. Holmes in the backfield. Ricks. 1st down. Gage on the tackle, but not until Ricks picks up the 1st down. 2nd and 7. Ricks. Overstreet's got it. Across midfield. Ricks has a receiver downfield. It's caught for a touchdown. Territory. Ricks fakes the pitch. Gets inside the 15.
He's in the type of young men that represent his philosophy in life and in football.
Ricks in a shotgun. He's going to run it out to the 10. And 2nd and 11 after the holding penalty. Sidearm toss. And a nice catch. Ricks on the 1st and 10. Little draw play. Takes it outside. He's got the 1st down.
But Ricks going to take it up the...
All right, we are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White, Brandi B. Harris.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday. My guy, Mike, see, now we're in tandem. We right here. We right here because every time he hears it, he already knows to hit y'all with the bombs. Wait till we get some more sound effects lined up for all of the little reactions. It's just going to be fantastic. So, Perry, we've got a very busy docket this morning, right? Happening on the Bluff today, SWAC Track and Field Championships. We just talked to Coach there, talking about what's going on. Women's team definitely competing. They're in 2nd place right now overall, and a lot of those finals will be happening today. We've actually got our special guest in the studio. I've been telling y'all, Senator Cleo Fields is going to be here to talk about the implications of the redrawing of the Louisiana congressional maps to include a 2nd majority-minority district, what that means, how that impacts all of us. We'll talk about that. And, of course, there's just so much going on in SU news. People in the comments are letting me know, Perry, that gala, Southern University Athletics Department gala in the fall, which the inaugural one was last year. They'll have another one this year, that it's one of the best. So I'm looking forward to that, Perry. What about you?
Yeah, I am. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a well-put-together program, opportunity to honor some greats. I'll be interested to see who's going to be the next lineup of honorees for this year's gala. You're talking about the crawfish boil. I've attended those over the years, whether they've been in Dallas, Houston, Baton Rouge, wherever. I know one thing about Southern University Alumni Federation. They know how to boil some crawfish, and no matter where it's at in the nation. And so I expect nothing less than a great event today from them. And then you're talking about those events right there on the campus. Southern University baseball taking on Alcorn. Then you look over at Southern University track and field with the championship, SWAC championships right there on the campus. So there's a lot, if you're a Jaguar fan, that you can be in tune with to be a part of today, and as well as listening to the Jaguar Journal. As I always say, be sure to go hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel and hit the follow button on our Facebook. We love to have your support. Guess what? I don't need your social security number. I don't need the credit card number. I don't need the date of birth. I just need your support. And guess what?
Just a little tap.
Support is free.
That's right. Just a little tap. Just a little tap. And, of course, we've just got so much going on. Now, we are getting to that end of the spring semester for Southern University, Perry. So we know that sports, or at least for the student athletes, that time is going to start coming to a close. But that doesn't mean that it's over. There's a lot happening in between. With the postseason, we know that all of our football players are going to be hitting those summer camps later on this summer. So we are very excited to get that preview of football. Am I the only person that's already thinking about football, I can't possibly be the only person.
No, you're not. Trust me. They wish,
especially because we got a new coach, right?
The vast majority wish we were probably talking about football right now. They want football every weekend. I'll have to pull myself back and let them know, look, got to save something for the fall. Look, sometimes it's just, and then it's the biggest thing about it is it's not that easy to get continuous news on this level when it comes to those sports like people think it is on the bigger level where, you have a room full of SIDs and people in athletic administration that can pump out information. On our level, on this FCS, on this SWAC level, hey, it's not that easy. Hell, sometimes it's hard just to get a schedule, Brandi.
A schedule? That's not even tea. That's like public information.
Well, somebody has to create it to put it to the public, right?
That's right. You're making a good point.
And we don't a lot of times have a lot of the resources because when we talk about our school and our sports, you may have two people that's running, having to do all of the sports where, you look at the bigger schools, let's just take the school right there on the south side, you may have one person per sport that can give you every stat, every schedule, all the continuous updates, social media. So, it's the resources. So for a lot of people, hey, it's not that easy, and I tell them, a lot of times I have to reach out to coaches directly to get information, and sometimes coaches don't want to give out and put out information directly at that time because they're trying to hold it close to the vest. So that's one of the things about this area of what we do, trying to update and give people information continuously about sports. And I know, look, Brandi, they will bother you. Just keep sticking around. People are going to be in your inbox and in your DMs asking you about football questions. Just stick around and watch what I say.
Well, as I told you, even with sports starting to kind of come to a close where y'all going to make Perry turn into an investigative reporter, he's going to have to dig deep.
No, they not.
No, they not. He said he's not doing all that. He said it's going to come to us because this is the Jaguar Journal. But we have other stuff that's going to have implications on Southern University, too. As I told y'all, there are 2 resolutions in the House right now in the regular legislative session to establish medical and pharmacy schools at Southern. Xavier University announcing earlier this week in New Orleans that they are partnering with Ochsner to establish their own medical school next to what already have their very, famous pharmacy school that helps make black pharmacists in this country. So to have those type of bills or resolutions happening in the state capitol right now would have huge implications on Jaguar Nation and make a big, big, big difference in our representation in the healthcare industry. So there's so much going on. And don't forget, Congressional District Map. This is something you've been hearing about for a long time. You're going to continue to hear about it. We've been ordered to create a second majority-minority district to create a whole new congressional district. There's a lot of political implications. That's going to affect the entire state and how we're represented in Congress. So we do have Senator Cleo Fields here in studio to talk about it. We are going to go to a quick break in just a bit. Perry, what you got for the people while you're in Chicago right now?
Well, look, let me tell you, I just got an update for baseball. The baseball game versus Alcorn has been moved to a doubleheader on Sunday with one game on Monday. because of field conditions. So I just want to update people. The field conditions at Lee Hines Field has caused them to move it to a doubleheader on Sunday and one game on Monday. So I just want to put that information out there for everybody.
All right. Well, Perry White in Chicago. He's over in Chi-Town, Perry this weekend. I'm here in the studio holding it down by myself. We're going to have a house party, or we're not going to have a house party. Mike is shaking his head. He's saying no house parties on today. It's too early on a Saturday morning. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back on the other side of that break, we're going to hear from Senator Cleo Fields and talk about this congressional district map. We'll be right back.
Southern was a little late to the game of football. They had started earlier in the CIAA up at Hampton and those schools up there. And when J.S. Clark became president of Southern University in 1914, he had already visited Tuskegee and these Howard and the other schools, and they had a football program. And he wanted to compete with them, not just in the classroom, but also on the football field. So it started as an intramural. We had intramurals when we first came in 1914 through 1916-17. And then the intramural program evolved into the varsity, into the football program in 1918. Coach Big Charlie Holmes from Colorado State, he came here as an assistant coach, but he took over around 1922, 1923, and he did very well through the early 20s. But he came up to 26. He broke even. He was expected to do well, and 27. I don't find any records where he won any games there, and he was replaced. But the person he was replaced by was a legendary. Name is Bryce Union Taylor from the University of Southern California. Out there, he had been an All-American. He was the guy that stopped the four horsemen of Notre Dame, and then he went to Chaffin University in South Carolina at 27. In 1928, he became the head football coach at Southern University and athletic director, and he really put Southern on the map. He had a lot of firsts. First of all, he had the first All-Americans we had came under him. Therefore, he had the greatest winning percentage in Southern University. He won 85% of his game here, and he had our first undefeated season in 1931 when he was 7-0, and but he was not declared national champ, but he was considered for that. But he was our first great coach during that early period, Bryce Union Taylor. We don't want to forget him. Arnett W. Mumford, he's a national icon in coaching. He had coached 10 years in Texas, Jarvis Christian, Bishop, and Texas College. But the last 5 or 6 years at Texas College, he was very, very outstanding. He won 2 SWAC titles, and he had won a national black championship at Texas College and 35. So therefore, Southern was interested in getting him here, and Dr. Felton Clark was very instrumental, the person to get him here. But his impact it goes much further than Southern University in the state of Louisiana. He won 12 SWAC titles, 10 of them at Southern and 2 at Texas College. And he won 5 or 6 national black championships. And also, he was very successful in the first interracial bowl game, the Fruit Bowl in San Francisco in 1948 when he played San Francisco State, and he won that game decisively. But his influence extended much further than the boundaries of Southern University. He was recognized nationally as a great coach. His winning record, he didn't coach over a period of 35 years, and a couple of those years they didn't have teams because of the war. But he won 246 games, second only to Eddie Robinson with his 402 game over 55 years, I should add. And so it always had loyal supporters, and they would follow the team everywhere they would go in large numbers. So Southern became the team that everyone loves to beat. Loves every Saturday. It's the toughest game we have every Saturday. So if they don't win another game, they figure if they win the Southern game, they had a good season. And because we carry a large crowd with us everywhere we go too, so a lot of people like that. And we like to brag about how good we are. And of course that helps out. But it is a vista to the university, using the football athletics period to use that way to introduce the university to people who may not have known the university. Went through a period of 20 years, 30 years, I believe it was, after Mom, till we got Coach Pete Richardson in 1982, 83, and then he returned us to the glory years. Rivalry with Grambling has always been there because it's an intrastate rivalry. And we played Grambling a few times before 1948, but after then, we didn't play them anymore until we became a member of SWAC in 1959. But FAMU filled that void with Jake Gaither and A.W. Mumford. Those were some of the greatest games that you ever would see. And they became our main rivalry after 1948.
We are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody that's watching us on our YouTube channel. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. Everybody on our Facebook Live, be sure to follow us, and everybody listening in the capital city area on 107.3 FM. Good morning to you. I am Perry White, Brandi B. Harrison.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Saturday to everyone out there in Jaguar land and across the state of Louisiana. Perry White, good morning to you. Live to us on the phone from Chi-Town.
Look, you like the feds. You telling everybody where I'm at, Brandi?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You said it. You said you got people in the Midwest up there. You said all the way from Chicago to Milwaukee to where else you named?
I'm just giving you a hard time. Good morning, Brandi. Good morning to everybody. Very special guest right there in the studio with you today, a Southern University grad. And guess what? He is very involved when you're talking about the lives of people in the state of Louisiana and how certain things, when you come to policies and procedures and how the state is run, he is right there on the forefront for our communities and doing the necessary things to fight for Southern University. Brandi, be sure to let the people know who's right there with you.
That's right. We are sitting in here with a very distinguished guest, Senator Cleo Fields. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. You got your Southern University button down on. He's making sure to know that for the Jaguar Journal, he's putting on for the Jaguars on this morning. But Senator, very serious implications happening in the state legislature right now. Y'all are in the middle of a regular session, potentially going into this constitutional convention to revamp the state constitution that the governor calls, quote, bloated. But right now, this week, actually, you've been directly affected by this these three federal judges, this panel of judges that has decided that the congressional district map that was drawn up by the legislature, you were running for that new 6th minority majority district. They're saying that map is no good. Tell us, give us an explanation on how we got to this point.
Well, first of all, good morning, and to you, Brandi, because every morning, Monday through Friday, I wake up, I watch you. So you have so much spirit, and Perry have just taken a vacation on you. But you know, the congressional redistricting, this is not my first rodeo. We fought this before when we had 2 majority-minority districts. The courts have held that Louisiana was in violation of the Voting Rights Act. And so they instructed us to draw 2 minority districts. Why? Because of the minority population. We over 33% of the state's population, and there are 6 members of Congress, and we're entitled to 2. The 3-judge panel, decided to this week knock it down. But that's a temporary. That's an appeal has already been taken to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court ultimately needs to rule and will rule as to the legitimacy of the 2nd majority-minority district. Now, what's interesting about this is, Louisiana was the first state in the whole nation to elect a black member of Congress. John Willis Menard in 1868. Was the first black man ever elected to Congress. And the reason why people don't know about it is because they never allowed him to take his seat. When he walked into the Congress to take his rightful seat, a gentleman from Ohio stood and said, Mr. Garfield, who became the 20th president of the United States, he said it's too early for a Negro to be seated in his body, and they sent him back to New Orleans, and Garfield said, let's save this $5,000. And so Louisiana then, 4 years later or so, elected its first black and seated, and that was Charles Nash out of Opelousas. And then after that, 4 other blacks were elected, me included. So Louisiana have only elected and seated, 4 African Americans, 5, Charles Nash and afford at a living to the U.S. Congress. And the courts have said, hey, come on now, let's fix this. And I'm very confident that the Supreme Court will stay the ruling of the district court, of the 3-judge panel in Shreveport, and allow us to move forward with the elections.
Now, the lawsuit that's brought on this decision from the federal judges was brought on by white voters, correct, who said that the district was too heavily drawn on race lines. But, correct me if I'm wrong, a federal judge had already said it needed to be drawn on race lines.
Yeah, the plaintiffs, they said it's a racial gerrymander, and 2 of the 3 judges, the one judge dissented, Judge Stewart, and 2 of the other 2 judges ruled that they were right. The problem with that, Stevie Wonder could see that it was not drawn solely based on race, because the plan that the NAACP, I had, Senator Price had, sent the district from Baton Rouge to Monroe. But politics sent it to Shreveport. And politics is permissible as long as you don't violate the Voting Rights Act. So at the end of the day, Louisiana is in this unique position. I never dreamed that we would be in a state where we have the Speaker of the House, the Majority Leader, and the gentleman who brought the bill, Senator Womack, his member is Congresswoman Letlow, and a female member of Congress. So there were all kinds of political considerations that drove the map to Shreveport. But for whatever reason, 2 of the 3 judges just ignored that. But you can't ignore the record, because I think they put on a pretty good case in Shreveport. And that record will be seen by the Supreme Court. And, I feel like Justice Thurgood Marshall, when he was arguing, separate but equal, and he just got fed up, and he was having a town hall meeting at a church. I think it was in Alabama. And he basically said, I'm tired of all this debate. Let's let the Supreme Court decide. And that's the way most of us feel. Let's let the Supreme Court decide.
So the Supreme Court, or we know that legality and politics in our nation do not always move super fast. It's often changes slow, and it moves at a snail's pace. Mm-hmm. Are we expecting the Supreme Court to make a decision before this upcoming November election? Because the Secretary of State is saying she needs a decision by May 15th.
Yeah, that's a soft trigger. But at the end of the day, right now, we have no map to run under. And obviously, we will have to have a map to run, and it won't be the present map. It's going to be the map that we pass, or a court-imposed map. But, the courts normally don't inject themselves to that degree, but they may very well. One thing that the court did not say, the 3-judge panel, it did not say you shouldn't draw a second minority district. They were more into, it was driven here based on race, which was just not true. But we'll see. I think the Supreme Court, they've ruled on this matter before. They ruled on it in Alabama. They gave a signal in Louisiana. And I think they realized that we are against the wall, against the clock. And I think they're going to say probably, every time I predict something, I end up being wrong. But probably they're going to say, hey, hold up. We're going to stay the opinion of the 3-judge panel, and let's move forward with the elections, and let's have a trial on the merits in the meantime. That's the most practical thing to do. But I don't see under any scenario where there wouldn't be a second minority district.
Now, tell me if I'm wrong, because, we all know the numbers are out there that when there's a presidential election or a gubernatorial election, there's a much higher turnout. So it's kind of needed to have this all cleared up before the November elections, right?
Oh, absolutely. I feel pretty confident that an election will take place this November with 2 majority-minority districts. The only question is, will it be the present map that we passed in the legislature? And, it's interesting about what's interesting about this, all parties are on the same page. You got the state, you got the plaintiffs, the NAACP, and you got the legislature. And for the courts to overturn that, and you have complied with the Voting Rights Act. So at the end of the day, I just think our case is much stronger than the folk who prevailed in the with the 3-judge panel.
Now, you've worked in D.C. before, and I'm sorry, Perry, did you have a question?
Yeah, Senator Fields, my thing is when you look at African Americans, when you look at black folks in the state of Louisiana, we've seen traditionally where the biggest voting population areas are. We saw it with John Bell Edwards when he ran for governor, right? It was Baton Rouge and the New Orleans area that basically carried in with the African American vote. But when you're talking about getting African Americans to the polls and being able to be in a state like Louisiana where it's so divided, because once you start to get to that middle part and start to get a little bit northern part of Louisiana, things start to change when you especially look at the conservative mindset. How important, like what Brandy's been asking, is it for African Americans in the state of Louisiana to really understand that this is important to get this extra congressional district to represent them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, what is the main responsibility? One of the primary responsibilities of members of Congress to appropriate money to the several states across the nation and abroad. I mean, at the end of the day, when you do not have a person who looks like you representing you, bringing things home for Southern University, for example. When I was in Congress, I got Southern a $5 million grant from NASA to start this aerospace program. And, I brought the administrator to Southern, and Southern said, that's the biggest grant we have ever received. That was in, 93, 94. I mean, that's a shame. I mean, you got to have people who are zero focused on helping folk. These little towns and villages across the 6th Congressional District, they don't see a member of Congress. They haven't seen a member of Congress in a while. They see them on TV. You got to get there, and the rubber has to meet the road with these local towns and villages, with HBCUs. You got to have somebody who really cares about your interests. And I think people realize that. I mean, because people in Louisiana, we have experienced it. We know the difference. And I think people are excited about getting out and going to vote in November, not only in the presidential race, but in the congressional race as well.
Let me ask you this, because you just touched on things that are actually happening in the news to affect Louisiana right now. Federal Trade Commission saying that if Congress doesn't pass something soon, people in some of those rural areas that would be a part of that won't have internet or cell service. So having that representation is important. But like you said, a lot of those people only see their congressional representation on television. You mentioned the fact that the House Speaker in Congress right now is from Louisiana, that the majority leader is from Louisiana, Steve Scalise and Mike Johnson. But when we see them on TV, it almost feels, for some people, especially because most black folks in Louisiana are registered as Democrats, it almost feels adversarial. Explain in layman's terms why that's important, and why by having another black congressional representative and having those high-powered leader positions would make a difference for constituents here in Louisiana.
Right. It's not just about electing someone who looks like you. It's more about electing someone who cares about you, and somebody who's going to take care of your Social Security needs when you call, having good quality constituent services so you can help the people across the district. Southern University, you all were talking about Southern and the big institution, the flagship across the other side of town. I mean, many times Southern do not take advantage of opportunities because they don't have the resources. You got to, but when you got a member of Congress who have members of his staff or her staff, zero focus on let's help Southern University. For example, I'm right now, and I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna say it. Right now, I am looking in the budget to try to find funding for Southern University Mass Communication. You graduated in Mass Communication. Yep. Perry graduated. I mean, I wouldn't say it's obsolete, but it needs to be.
It needs resources.
Digital media, AI. I mean, we have to bring it up to the present day. But if I wasn't there, and if I wasn't concerned, and if I wasn't a product of Southern, where I go and I see the problems, it's not that people don't care. They just don't know. And we need people who know and care, and not people we just see on TV.
So what would be your message to people? Because obviously, from a news perspective, as a journalist perspective, we've been talking about the second minority majority district for so long. And now 2024 is here. The election is only a few months away. What would be your message to people about why this is so important and why the next steps, whatever the U.S. Supreme Court says about this congressional map situation, why it's so important, how it affects us?
Well, it's so important because, you have 6 members of Congress, and African Americans make up 33 1/3 of the state population, and you should have an opportunity. It's just basic fairness to elect a person of your choice, not a guarantee, just an opportunity. Because when this district is created, it doesn't guarantee that a black will be elected. It only gives a black an opportunity to be elected. And I tell people all the time, inclusion is good. What's wrong with it? I mean, what's wrong with giving the minority population an opportunity to elect a candidate of their choice? I mean, anybody can run. The incumbent can run. It doesn't say you got to be black to run. But it gives black people some hope. I can elect. And then when the little kids, I believe in this inspirational story. When kids see it in middle school and high school, when they see a member of Congress, they say, well, I can do that. But it's up to us. We got to get out and vote. And I was with Reverend Jackson when he was running for president. I think we were in Michigan, and we got on a bus, and I was like, Reverend, these people are so apathetic about voting. And he corrected me. He said, there are no apathetic voters. They're uninspired voters.
You got to get them energized.
It's our job to inspire them. And people in Louisiana, particularly minority people, they need to be inspired to get out and vote.
Listen, the South is where we are. So if you hear there, we are a very strong part of the population in all of the Gulf Coast states. So it's important that we are actively and energized. We shouldn't have to look for the candidates to energize us. We need to be participating and be energized ourselves. Before we let you go, a lot happening at the state. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Perry.
Yeah, let me get in on this because, he said a couple things that I like. First of all, you talking about being inspired. I enjoyed that because, listen, for me, I was a marine biology major, right? Barack Obama was running for office. He said, talking about change. And when he went around with his grassroots, candidacy and basically getting people, he started with, it wasn't about the big person. It was about the community, the little person, right? And let you know, if I get enough small people together, we are big in numbers together. That ultimately made me change my major from marine biology to political science. It ultimately made me realize I don't know a lot about my community. I wanted to know why when I grew up, one side of the city looked this way where I live. Then when you cross a certain area, that side of the city looked completely different. They may have had the sidewalks, the street lights, the bike lanes. Things looked better when you looked at those schools. And it really forced me to have to put myself in a position to understand what is different and why didn't I realize why things were so different and who is making these decisions. We get so caught up into Democrat, Republican, and we vote for this person, that person, but how much are we holding those people accountable? And especially like when you talk about Southern having SU Day at the Capitol, right? That is important. When you're talking about people all over the state, and it goes back to what you said about that mass comm department. And listen, let me tell you, much needed because we've had conversations here on this show about how do we then improve our network and how we communicate to people. I've always been big about this with Southern, and I know you guys are mass comm, I'm political science. Southern holds a footprint around the entire state of Louisiana, from Shreveport to Baton Rouge to New Orleans and everywhere around this state. People know who Southern is. But for Southern to be in a position where it created the black middle class of the state of Louisiana, I believe it is our duty at Southern University to educate and give out information from the top all the way to the bottom in terms of what's going on when you talk about the African-American community. I think it is our duty, and it is bestowed upon us to do that. So when I hear you say I'm looking to find this money to help that mass comm department, that is huge when you're talking about the access to radio. when you're talking about the access to television, and on top of this new digital media age in which you can reach people through social media, the internet, and whatever other ways that they may not have gotten if they missed the radio, if they missed television. So first I want to say, man, I appreciate you for that, because we've had that conversation about, well, where are these resources? And I've always been a big person to say, these resources are there. We just have to find the right people to tap into these resources. Then we have to do our job to stay on that person. Then we have to do our job once we get those resources to keep up those resources. So I commend you for that, and I hope that fight can continue, that you can get more people on board, because Southern needs that, to have a mass comm department that is fully functional, that can educate and give out information to our community from Shreveport to Baton Rouge to New Orleans and everywhere around. It's our duty to educate our people and give them that information, which is why you see a show like the Jaguar Journal. But the Jaguar Journal is one time on a Saturday morning. On top of that, Senator Fields, it gives us an opportunity to then educate our own students and get them prepared for the next level, like a Brandi Harris, and gives yourself like a Cleo Fields, where you can get on there and then you can talk to our direct alums and supporters and lovers of Southern University and the African-American community around the state. So I want to tell you, I'm inspired by that, because I was inspired to move into the political science, because, like you said, someone that looked like me with a color made me realize I don't really know what's going on in my community. And that was ultimately, that information was pushed to me. But now it's our duty to get that information and push it on and inspire the next generation. And what better way to do it if we can do that from right there at Southern University, pushing out that information and showing them people that look like us, to inspire them to be the next generation, to ultimately be a senator, to ultimately be a news anchor woman, or to be right here doing the Jaguar Journal.
All right, and Perry, look, you make a very good point, and Brandi hit it on it earlier. You know, it's not just about having a person who looks like you in office, because, you know, one of the things I did 4 years ago when I came back to the state senate was I was tired of Southern just bandaging the problem. I mean, you know, like the science building, they kept doing a chiller, they kept fixing the floor, fixing the roof. You know, we put money in the budget to build a whole new science building. I mean, you know, let's stop putting good money on top of, on top of bad. And a business school. I mean, Southern is known for its business college. You know, we building a brand new business school. And then you got to get kids young. You know, I got tired of, you know, us fixing the lab school. We're going to build a brand new lab school. Those things are in the budget. And every year, you know, we had to appropriate money for those purposes. That's why it's important to get people, not just who look like you, but people who care like you. And you're right about Southern. I mean, you know, where would we be but for Southern? But it's our job to protect it, defend it, and promote it. You know, don't start talking about alumni. I've been, you know, putting money in the budget trying to build a new alumni center. We getting close, but we're not there yet. But we need those type of somebody who's going to take on those kind of fights for our children.
But
Can I ask you this, Senator?
Yes, sir.
How tough is it in the Senate for you to represent Southern? What seems, when you look around that room and you bring the name Southern, or you hear HBCUs, that people ultimately shy away from when you talk about support towards those institutions?
Well, I mean, it's never easy. You know, it's never easy. But at the end of the day, I have the luxury of representing both Southern and LSU. And what's good for the goose is good for the gander. And I bring both proposals, you know. I'm not opposed at all to supporting LSU. I support it all the time. That's my duty. That's my job. But we can't leave Southern behind. Let's not build at LSU and fix at Southern. Let's build both. And I think for the past 4 years, we've been doing that. Now, the U.S. Department of Education came out with a study.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah, we have a deficit, and that's one of the things I've talked to my Senate president about. You know, the chairman of finance, the chairman of revenue and FISC. listen, we have a deficit. I mean, it's like when we were fighting, and we still to some degree, this whole fight about equal protection and affirmative action. People need to stop looking at it as two parallel lines, where one person is qualified and another person underneath them is unqualified, and you're elevating the person who's unqualified to the level of a person who is. That's not it. It's like finding two people in a hole. One person is 5 feet deep in a hole, and another person is 6 feet deep. And you say, okay, we're gonna stop discriminating now. We're just gonna throw each of you a 5-foot rope. Well, a person who's 6 feet deep will never benefit from the rope, and we have to get beyond that. Let's go together. I forgot who said it. It's a famous proverb that says, if you want to get somewhere fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. We got to go together. Let's stop fighting. I think one of the greatest things about Louisiana is, LSU is the flagship. Nobody denied that, and we ought to promote it, support it, and I do. Southern University is the only HBCU system in the country. We ought to support it and be proud of it. I don't care if you black, white. You ought to like, oh, that's a great thing, and that's the kind of attitude I am trying to generate at the state capitol. There's nothing, we got a law school that's 50-50. We graduate almost.
We had a white governor that graduated from that law school.
Yes, we graduate almost as many white graduates from the law school as we graduate. I mean, we ought to celebrate our diversity, and that's what we have always done at Southern, and that's what I'm trying to get people to do, and they're doing it to some degree at the legislature. Celebrate our diversity.
I want to bring up that report or analysis rather from the Department of Education on the federal level of HBCUs across the country have been historically underfunded by billions of dollars. I want to say it was a total of like $1 trillion when you combined everybody. Southern several $billion short over the last several decades. Do you think that by finding that funding, like you're talking about at the state level and the federal level, again, going back to that congressional representation, right, of finding funding for Southern, would that make Baton Rouge in our little state of Louisiana destination for higher learning, whether you chose to go to LSU or to one of our HBCUs, but especially Southern?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good thing to do. There is a big positive in educating children. I mean, from early childhood education, which we need to put more money in.
That's another conversation.
Yes, to higher education. I mean, there is a benefit, and there is, people talk about crime, and there is too much crime, not only in Baton Rouge, but in our state and in our nation. But at the end of the day, the easiest way to fix crime is by educating people early. People who are educated and who are in school are not committing crimes. And we have to just wrap our brains around that. We can't wait till little Johnny get to the 3rd grade and say he can't read, so let's put him on the side. Because if he can't read in the 3rd grade, he's behind. We got to start teaching little Johnny how to read, from the womb, pre-K, early childhood education, kindergarten. I mean, when I got kindergarten, wasn't even mandatory.
It wasn't even a universal thing.
And it wasn't mandatory, but it is now. I mean, it's like we got to stop going about it backwards. Let's stop pointing fingers, saying it's your fault, it's your fault. It's all of our fault. Let's fix it. The problem is we need to educate our kids early. And you mentioned a medical school. Look, Southern needs, we have such a lack of
medical representation,
black physicians, and it's all over the country. And we have a major, I was talking to, one of our higher ups the other day, let's pass these resolutions, but let's not study. I'm tired of the whereas, where. I'm ready for the therefore be it resolved. There is a problem with diversity in the medical community. And Southern is in an ideal space to fix it, and we should fix it. Southern would be able to, increase our number of black physicians, exponentially. And those are the kind of things, that kind of out-of-box attitudes we need to have, not only at the Capitol, but everywhere. We all got to think about inclusion. How do we fix it? Give it to the HBCUs.
Senator, I could talk to you all day because
Louisiana
is literally behind.
And all morning.
There's so many health disparities in Louisiana. So the idea of getting a pharmacy and medical school for Southern University is fantastic. But before we let you go, talk to me about this constitutional convention, because I feel like every time we go to the ballot box, there's all these amendments. You're trying to figure out what they mean and how it applies to you. The governor calls it, quote, bloated. And now y'all are, from the research that I've done, the last time the state constitution was touched was decades ago. Mm-hmm. And it took a long time, 2 years for them to get it to the voters. Talk to me about this super quick process and what are the implications for us, for the voters, and especially for the black community?
Well, I do think that the Constitution is bloated. I do think it needs to be, put on a diet. Do I think we have the time to do it in this regular session of the legislature? Absolutely not. The problem with opening up the Constitution, you got MFP, which is the minimum foundation, funding foundation for K through 12. We can't cut that. You got homestead exemption. There are some things in the Constitution that deserves and needs to be in the Constitution. There are other things in the Constitution that we probably shouldn't put in the Constitution. So what we need to do is separate what we can agree on and what we can't agree on. But I've made it very clear to the president of the Senate and to the governor of the state, this would be too rapid, and it's too big of a decision to rush it all into a couple of weeks. So I'm of the opinion that we won't have a constitutional convention this session of the legislature. I think legislators are tired. They are ready to leave the state capitol, and nothing good can come out of having a constitutional convention in 2 weeks during this legislative session.
Y'all have already had a special session, now in the
another
regular
special
session, and
now the regular session.
Yeah, so that would be 4 sessions of lawmaking.
We shouldn't rush it. If we're gonna fix it, let's fix it the right way. Let's not rush into it, because we're gonna make bad decisions, and nothing good will come out of it. And I think the sentiments of the legislature now is, maybe we should slow down. Maybe we should wait until another day and do it right. Why rush and do it wrong when we can take our time and do it right?
Perry, you had anything else?
Perry
Look,
always has something.
I do, but we can talk all day. And said, I don't know if you got something to do today, if you want to stick around. If you got to go somewhere, I understand. But if not, man, we can continue the conversation. I don't know.
It's up to you all. I'm good, but all I'm doing is I got to go to Southern later on today, because I got to help them boil some crawfish.
Oh, you cook crawfish. You a crawfish
yeah,
boiler.
That's why I have my Southern University.
Wait. No. That's important information that the people need to know. What you put in your crawfish boil, Senator?
Well, it's a secret. But
okay.
But I love garlic. Okay. I like first of all, it's healthy.
Uh-huh.
And I like
super
crawfish.
Great for your heart health.
Yeah, I like crawfish that have the garlic taste. So I put a lot of garlic.
I like mushrooms in my crawfish.
And I like lemons. Mushrooms.
I love. That's like a perfect little snack
to
just grab as when you're done or before you're done. You can just keep snacking them. I love them.
And I like separate balls. I like to boil the potatoes in one ball with the corn, and it takes me like an all-day deal to do it.
Oh no!
And then do the crawfish alone, all by themselves.
Do you dust?
No, I don't dust. I don't think that's approappropriate.
Oh no! Not he says it's inappropriate.
No,
I married a man from the Acadiana area. It's good. It's good. It's not crunchy. It's light like pixie dust. It's good.
No, I can't do the dusting thing. The dusting thing. It's kind of the quick way, the easy way to give it flavor, but it's really not.
We're gonna talk about it in the break. We're gonna talk about it in the break. I'm gonna have to put him on.
Yeah, put him on, because I don't feel the dusting thing. I just don't like dusting. I like spoil them with that seed. Let them soak. Let them get the season inside of the shell, and then when you put all that, when you got it, you mess. It's not the appropriate way to boil crawfish.
He says it's inappropriate. Oh my gosh. Okay, Perry, I think we need to take a quick commercial break and come back.
Well, let's do this, Senator Fields. Any last thing you want to say for the people out there? Just any inspiration, give them any information, any last thing?
Well, people, first of all, the voters of the state just need to be forever vigilant, pay attention to what's taking place at the legislature, pay attention to what's taking place in Congress. But their elected officials, like members of the Louisiana Legislative Black Caucus, they have been, look, those men and women down at the Capitol, they really do work hard. I have never worked with a group of men and women like this group that we have with the caucus, under the leadership of Edmund Jordan. I mean, we have people from all corners of this state who work so hard for their constituents, and I'm just so proud that they do, and I'm happy to be a member of that body. People just need to pay attention and get out and vote. I mean, there's so many people who died to give us this right. We don't have the voting subsection 5 of the Voting Rights Act now. We have to totally depend on the courts to defend our rights. And that's why Congress need to pass the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. But we need to get engaged. Everybody get engaged. And thanks for having me today, Brandi and Perry. I appreciate being here, and it was good talking to you.
We appreciate you coming on to talk to us about what's going on at the legislature and the future of this congressional district, majority congressional district. Thank you so much, Senator Fields. Perry, any final words before we go to our last break?
Don't dust them crawfish.
Don't do it. Don't do it, Brandi.
Smoke in the commercial break. We'll be right back. Mike, hit the horns.
Don't do it.
Don't do it.
No, I agree. You tell your husband he needs to not dust those crawfish.
Well, we'll be right back.
Darius Skelton has really had this wave of momentum for Southern.
Yeah, first-year player in this program. I love his decision-making. He makes quick decisions, particularly when running the run-pass option game. That's his specialty. He's been an impact for this offense since he took over as starting quarterback.
Well, Darius Skelton is a dual-threat quarterback. He can throw the football. He's very good at throwing the ball down the field. We're going to work on this spring those intermediate passes, but down the field, he's one of the better down the field passes that I've seen.
Play action, Skelton going for it all, has a man, and hauling it in is Hunter Register.
And then when you talk about running ability, he has running back capabilities. He can go the distance. He has the speed to go the distance. He has the power, and he has the vision. And I think when you put that with a dual threat quarterback, I think he's the reason why we're so happy about this coming season.
Skelton feeling the pressure. Skelton eludes a couple of tacklers. He's still on his feet. Oh my! Little shake and bake juke move, baby.
Being a quarterback, man, it's not easy at all. It was hard being here and having the expectations to be the starter and not being the starter. It was overwhelming. Like, I was ready to play, and not playing when I was ready to play just made me kind of look at life differently and really think, should I be here or should I not? And I talked to God, and he just settled me down, and he told me to be patient. That's what I did.
Skelton, who started the last 6 games of 2018 for the Jaguars. They went 5-1. Their only loss to Alcorn State in the SWAC title game. Taking the jet sweep, and Skelton awfully good with his leg. Blitz. Register, the receiver at the bottom of your screen. Nice grab. All who have had an impact here in the year lowing. Southern still. Skelton comes up for the 3rd time. Taking the jet sweep, he'll keep it. A good lead block as he cuts it to the outside. The fake to Ben. Skelton will run. And dragging with them for a few yards. Darius. The time stepping up into the end zone has registered. Flag down, catch made, touchdown, and it's actually first quarter yards. Southern 121, McNeese 40. Fresh set of downs as we begin the second quarter, and looking deep, Skelton for register.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
We are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. I'm Perry White, Brandi B. Harris.
Mike gets it every time because he's that guy.
Come on now, Mike.
I'm here solo dolo. Perry is on the road. We just had, I think, Perry, you tell me what you think. I think we had a fantastic conversation with Senator Cleo Fields about what's happening at the state capitol and how it has huge implications for us, for Southern University.
Yeah, I like it. I've enjoyed it. And look, Brandi and I have off-air conversations, you know, and we try to figure out. We're opposites, but we come together to make this show work. She's the news. I'm more word on the street guy, you know. So we're coming together, and that's what I like about it, Brandi. We like that gumbo or that crawfish boil. We mixing some stuff together, trying to make that recipe that's going to ultimately work out. What you think?
I think it's going to work out. I think that kind of like what Senator, tying back to the conversation we just had, representation is important. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I had not said it, but you were telling me hadn't had a female co-host on this show. Just having a woman's voice is a different perspective, right? Yeah. And the more perspectives you get in, the better, more informed, sound decisions you can make. You know, the better your conversations are, water cooler conversations are when you out there talking to other Jaguar fans. You know what I'm saying? So I think that that's important.
You say the more sound, so you saying women keep you level.
No, I'm not saying women. I'm saying a multitude of perspective is what helps you make sound decisions. You can't just be living in your own silo thinking what you think and then be out here thinking that you're right. You got to hear, you know what I'm saying? You got to tap into what everybody in your community or in wherever you are, get all of those decisions, all of those opinions before you make decisions in order to make super sound decisions. So we have a lot
like having you here.
Going on at Southern University. I'm sorry, go ahead, Perry.
That's I like having you here because you are very informed. You do this, right? You wake up every morning from 5 to 9, finding everything around Baton Rouge to be able to tell the people and inform them. So, you know, to have that intellect to be able to do that and then come right here and have that conversation, you know, that is why we are doing this together, and I enjoy it. So you're doing a great job. You're holding it down, holding the fort down. Mike not letting you – look, I told Mike, I said, Mike, don't let her run rampant. But see, the way y'all started the show this morning, that let me know you must have slipped Mike a couple dollars or something. And Mike said, you know what, I got you. So I don't know what y'all doing in the studio. Just, hey, don't tear it up, okay? Mike, y'all don't tear the studio up. I'll be back next week, all right?
House party. Yeah. Perry not here. The
We gotta
adults
take
are
another quick
home.
break.
The adults are gone. It's just the babysitter. Oh, we turning up.
Mike, do we need to take another quick break to stay on track?
Yeah, we're gonna take another quick break. Have to pay some bills to get us back on track. We had such a fantastic conversation with Senator Cleo Fields, Perry. So you're good over there where you are?
I'm good. Just don't dust them crawfish.
Okay. See, y'all being shady. Let's take a quick break, and we'll come back to wrap up the Jaguar Journal.
For watching the Southern University Human Jukebox. Click here to watch more videos, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.
We are back. It is the Jaguar Journal. Good morning to everybody. Be sure to follow us on our YouTube channel, our Facebook, and good morning to everybody listening on radio. I'm Perry White, Brandi B. Harris.
Me and Mike, man, we just
Brandi,
so eye to eye.
I got a question, Brandi.
Yes.
I don't even know how to boil crawfish, so I'm talking about don't dust. What is dusting? I don't even know
So
what I'm talking about.
dusting is a newer phenomenon over the last few years. I'm going to be honest. Some people not going to want to hear me say this, but maybe because I married a man from out that way, I've learned a lot about that Southwest Louisiana culture, more than what I knew before, right? I was privy to it, but not like now. Dusting is you boil it's not the only seasoning you use. Let's be clear, because I think that there's some kind of misconception on that. You still boil your crawfish and all of the seasonings that you normally do. Throw in your onions, throw in your garlic and your oranges, throw in your crawfish or crab boil, you know what I'm saying? And you do that. But then at the end, after they've soaked and sat, when you put them in that cooler or whatever container you're going to put them in, you dust them. It's thin. It's thin like pixie dust. Don't imagine crunchy like salt, okay? It's thin like pixie dust, and you just literally dust it on the top, and it's just extra flavor. Anybody that's doing it, like you're not boiling the crawfish in plain water and then putting seasoning. That's not what this is. It's extra. You know what I'm saying? And I want everybody to give it a fair shake.
What is the dust?
Now, it depends on where you're going. It's just some extra spice. It's a lot of, other seasonings, but they're ground.
Just seasoning the shell?
Yeah, like on the outside, but that's because, we suck the heads around here. So when you peel them off, and it's all on your fingers too.
No diddy.
It's all on your fingers too. So like as you're peeling your crawfish, you now have this extra seasoning on your fingers so that when you touch that crawfish meat, it's just good. If you haven't had it right, you must not know the right people and they're not doing it right, because I'm telling you, it's good.
So you saying Senator Cleo Fields has not had it right? He must don't know the right
people have a misconception that it's the only seasoning that you use, and that is not true. So y'all need to come on around us with them Harrises, because we do it right.
See, I don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, Perry, you my good friend. So the next time we have a crawfish boil and we're going to be doing some dusting, I'm going to invite you to make sure you get your first sample.
Please. I don't have a problem with socializing. Look, if I socialize, and that way I can get a better understanding, because I don't really understand all that talk. I've never boiled crawfish before. I have hosted and thrown crawfish boils, but I brought in a catering company to do it, right? Somebody else that knows well beyond and better than I do. But I truly don't understand it. So when I heard dusting, I'm like, I don't even know what they're talking about, but I instigate it.
Yeah, no, don't instigate it, but give it a shot. Okay?
Okay.
This is crawfish season, so anybody out there, tap in if you know about dusting. Y'all in the comments trying to eat me up, but I know what I'm talking about, and it's good, okay? And I'm going to defend the right to dust crawfish in Louisiana, period.
Where does this come? This must be a Texas thing.
No, this is Southwest Louisiana. This is not Texas. This is Southwest Louisiana, where the crawfish actually come from.
Well, why don't nobody seem to like it, though?
It's just parts of Louisiana. Louisiana, the boot is so divided, okay? To me, everybody north of Alexandria, y'all basically Arkansas. You know what I'm saying? It's a different culture. My little brother, my sister, they all live up there, and every time I go visit, I'm like, this is so different than what we have, But everybody got their own flavor, and that's the thing that I like about Louisiana. So to dust or not to dust, that is the question.
I don't even know. I have to see it. I don't even get what we're talking about. I hear the dust. I don't even know what it looked like.
Don't worry, P. I'm gonna put you on. Don't worry about it. We're gonna set that up, and I'm gonna put you on and show it to you, and then you're gonna come back singing the praises of that good dusting. Okay? And I'm not gonna let these people eat me up. We're gonna have to change the subject because they are upset about this. When I tell you, Louise, the people in the boot are sensitive about their food, and when you tell them you do something traditional differently, they take high offense to it, and they are ready to run you from town. Y'all not going to run me, okay? Because I know
Brandi, this is the beauty of this show, right? We talk about the news, and I know you love the news, but people love to hear your opinion. Sometimes when you give your opinion, this gives people another side of you. And they like, I didn't know Brandi does crawfish. So this gives people another side to you and give that opinionated part of the show. This is what I love about the Jaguar Journal.
That's what I love about the Jaguar Journal.
I don't know about Dustin. Brandi going to have to put me on. Because I don't get it. I like lemon pepper on my chicken. People in Louisiana don't like lemon pepper. I'm in Chicago. I eat mild sauce. People down there don't even have a clue what mild sauce is. So I get it. There is a difference of opinion, because when I came to Louisiana and said lemon pepper, they was like, what the hell are you talking about? We don't do lemon pepper here. I want extra lemon pepper on my chicken. I'm not talking about that wet lemon pepper y'all thinking about at Wingstop. I'm talking about the real lemon pepper seasoning on my chicken.
Okay, well, you see, you're going to have to put me on to that.
I got you on it. Look, that's all I've been eating since I've been up here is lemon pepper chicken.
Okay. Now, I'm not going to say bring me nothing back. It ain't going to be good. But if you could bring a little bottle of seasoning, we could do something with that. Perry, we are about to wrap the show. I do want to remind everybody that up on the bluff this afternoon, a very busy day, okay? You've got the SU Alumni Home Chapter Crawfish Boil, 10th Annual Crawfish Boil. At the same time, you've got the SWAC Track and Field Championships happening at A.W. Mumford Stadium. So there's a lot going on at Southern this Saturday and this weekend. And, of course, we had the Senator Cleo Fields here to talk about some of the stuff that's happening at the Capitol and that congressional map. Perry, before you go, what's your final thoughts from Chicago?
Hey, man, I'm just eating food, about to go get my back rubbed on and enjoy my life. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, you see that. We've got 1 minute left. Mike, we're going to have a party, okay? We had a party. So, Perry, if you come back and things look disheveled or out of place, that's because we had a house party while you were gone. You can't leave us unsupervised, babe, okay?
It's all good. We all grown. Look, I just come back and we'll get it back in order.
We're going to get it back in order. So, next week, same time, same place. We'll be right here with the Jaguar Journal. Perry White is out of town. Perry, you'll be back next week, though, right?
Yeah, I'll be back.
He'll be back next week, and we'll do it all over again. Thank y'all so much for tuning into the Jaguar Journal. Everyone have a happy, safe weekend. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? I am Perry White. I'm the host of the Jaguar Journal. I want to make sure that you guys tune in live each and every Saturday morning from 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. on 107.3 FM. We also have our affiliates in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as down in New Orleans. And if you're not able to catch us on radio live, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel as well as follow us on Facebook. It's the Jaguar Journal.